it's Amy, and I'm back with another installment for a year in the life of a professional crafter. This is installment 37, and today I'm talking about something very important for people with a handmade business. If it's like mine, and if it's not quite like mine, I sell soap and skincare products and things like that. If it's not quite like mine, that's okay. Just listen through. Okay, today I'm going to be talking about private label. Okay, this is the update. I read through the blog post for week 37 of that year in the life, and I wanted to talk about private label. So, private label is when I, as the soap maker, make soap or another product for another business. Okay, and they sell the stuff and put their label on it. So it might be their soap. Okay, I just made it for an agreed upon price, and I agree upon the batch size. Okay, so it's a way of doing wholesale, except my label's not on it. I make the things to their specifications, and then they sell it with their label on it. I have several private label accounts, and they are really worthwhile. I did the math on them because this is business, right? You want to be making money at this, and so is it worth it? Well, when I sell at a farmer's market, which is my standard thing I do, that's a 4-hour market. Luckily, I'm only 2 miles away, so the drive there and the drive home is minimal, like 10 minutes each, not even. So I don't even count that. But we do have to set up and tear down, so call it, by the time we set up and tear down, it's closer to 6 or 7 hours for a day of selling at the farmer's market. You got to drive there, unload the car, park the car, set everything up. Okay, hopefully you're done a little bit early, and then you sell for the time period, and then you have to tear down, put it in the car, drive home, unload. So that whole thing is about 7 hours. And it's out in the elements, and it's a lot of work. And if it's a hot summer day, it's uncomfortable. If it's a cold, wintry day in the fall, it's uncomfortable. So there's all that work that goes into that and all that time, and you ask yourself, what's your time worth? Okay, so I looked at it that way. I was like, well, for a batch of soap, how much time does it take? Not near as much time, start to finish, like an hour. Okay, and then all you have to do is get it there. So if it's in town, we deliver. Luckily, I have my husband as my employee, so he can deliver these, so we don't have to ship it. But even so, even if we put it in a box and shipped it, that's, maximum an hour, right? Find the box, put the things in the box. It's way less work. I wrote down the math. I wrote down that it's about 20% of the work, okay, for 50% of retail price, give or take. Give or take. It's actually a little more. Actually, it's probably closer to 60. So 20% of the work for about 60% of my retail price. There's still a lot of profit there, because then you've saved, in addition, there's a cut. You can't sell these for retail prices because they're going to be resold. So it has to be a wholesale level price. But what is your time worth? I'm making these things in batches, but I'm saving so much time, 7 hours for a farmer's market, right? When the total time to make and get this thing there is, 2 or 3 hours. So it's so worth it. It's so worth it because they're buying in bulk. I set the batch size. I'm like, you have to buy X number of bars of soap to do this deal. And they agree to it or not, and we agree to a price based on, what fancy essential oils they might or might not want, if they want any decoration or not, that kind of thing. So if you have a product that can be fashioned that way, I recommend you do that. If you have a product that cannot be fashioned that way, that it's your brand. I'm thinking of people who sew, like maybe if you sewed things and it had your brand tag on it. Definitely consider wholesale. Okay, definitely do. It's worth it. It is worth it because you set the minimums, and and the minimums are higher. People aren't buying one off. They're not buying one zipper pouch. I just made that up. They're not buying just one. They have to buy 12. or whatever. I don't know. And make sure you're proud. God, I should do a video on pricing. I'm going to take a note, because you got to make sure your pricing is such that when it's at 50% for wholesale, that you're still profiting from that. I suppose we need to talk about that another time, because I could talk a long time about the different concepts with pricing. I think I will. So maybe not today. I'm going to think about it and plan that one out. Let me know in the comments whether or not you do private label or wholesale, or if you've been approached for that. And we'll talk about that more in depth in the comments. Please click subscribe and click the little bell next to it. You can find my social media to follow me in the description. You can sign up for my email newsletter in the description, and you can join my Crafty Rebels Facebook page if you are so inclined, where we can have conversations more in depth about whatever business topics you want. You can post in there. So I appreciate your support in watching this series, and let me know what you think in the comments. Take care. Bye.